What's good, YouTube? Welcome back to the Brown Gent. In this video, we're going to talk about StarkNet. I've got some very strong opinions here. I didn't really get into it earlier on the live stream, but I've given it some thought. I've talked to a bunch of people who've been affected, heard a lot of different sides, and I really want to get into it. And it's that serious that we're not even going to talk about the private group. But before we get started, remember, nothing I say is financial advice. And the first thing I do want to mention is I really want to make sure that we reach out and try to support another YouTuber. His name is Crypto Cove. I've heard about him. From everything I've heard, he's a good guy. And unfortunately, his channel was deleted by YouTube out of nowhere. Like literally months of hard work, no warnings, no strikes, just gone. And anything we can do to help amplify the signal so that the right people at YouTube see this. If you go on Twitter and you find him at Crypto Cove, make sure you retweet this tweet, tag YouTube, because likely it was probably an AI, like a AI thing, because I've heard of this happening before, but it automatically deletes your channel, and we want to make sure he gets it back because we want more people like him and less people like those threaders that we see on Twitter. So guys, make sure you do that if you can. That'd be huge. But today's topic, and by the way, before I go into this, because of this, I am now also live streaming to Rumble. I know people have been asking, but I was getting messages from a few people saying, hey, can you start live streaming or going to Rumble as a backup just in case the same thing happens to you? Sure. So just in case, I'm on Rumble too, but I want to keep it on YouTube for the most part. But if anything ever happens to me, you know that the videos will have also gone there too. So I'll try to make sure all of this is backed up just in case. Hopefully nothing happens. So this morning I woke up and one of my buddies, Christian Peter, who I've had on the channel, had sent me a message about StarkNet, basically saying, hey, the airdrop's here. So I got out of bed, checked it out, and little did I know how controversial this would become. Now, when you first open it up and you go to their tweet, they basically say, hey, if you know, you know, or not even if you know, you know, right? I forget what this tweet is, ICMI. Anyways, basically, they showed an allocation for StarkNet tokens. And as I was reading it, I got a little disheartened. Now, it was like, when you're in school and you don't study for the test and you're like, I think I know enough. Did I get there? Am I going to barely pass? So I was on the edge. When I saw Ethereum stakers, I'm like, oh, maybe I got a shot. When I saw StarkNet users, I'm like, maybe. Because I couldn't remember how many times I used it before. I knew I used it a bit more recently, but I didn't touch it for a while. But I'm like, all right, I got two options because everything else, that's not me. I'm not a dev. I'm not an EIP author. I'm not a StarkX user or whatever that is. So I do what I always tell you guys to do. Doesn't matter if you think you're a 0% to get it, just go in there and try to claim. So I went on, put my wallet in, and surprise, surprise, I got 0. And the first thing I want to say is, look, I am not upset that I got 0. I deserve 0 because I did not put in the effort. I did not put the work in. That being said, I'm more upset for a lot of other people who I feel unjustly did not get a reward. And I'm going to talk about why and why I think this has implications for things moving forward. And also just this entire process, what StarkNet did, not cool. And we're going to go through that. But let me just talk about my account for a second. If you see here, I made an account in March of 2023. So that's when I first started farming StarkNet. I hit 2 months. And I was lazy enough that I had kept 0.1 Ethereum on the account or 0.09 at the time. But that was more laziness. Yes, I had some LPs, which, by the way, if you have some on StarkNet and you haven't gotten it out, they're more challenging than you think to get out. It's not it's EVM where it's easy to find where the protocol is. Because I was going to the protocol and it wouldn't find the liquidity pool, and I had to go to migrate, and all these things had changed. So just be wary of that and make sure you get that done right away. But let me be honest here. So, I minted a .stark ID. I did some swaps, liquidity pools, whatever. Didn't get there because I didn't have 3 months prior to the snapshot. And that's really the bummer for me. But hey, that's on me. because that I could have easily done. I could have easily gone back every month and taken care of that. That's a reasonable criteria. I don't hold anything against them for wanting at least 3 months. That's actually not a bad idea. In fact, I think, some protocols might even go harder on that. They may want 5 months, 6 months, right? Because they want to make sure they have the right users. So when we look at the criteria, I'm going to talk about exactly what I think is good and what I think is sort of really bad. So use it 5 times in total, not bad. 3 separate months or more, not bad. Transacted $100 worth of volume, not bad. Here's why I have an issue. November 15th, 2023. StarkNet knows, like they didn't launch this in December. They're launching this in February, and they've seen how explosive the crypto growth has been. So instead of, in my opinion, I think they already had figured out exactly what they were going to do a while ago, had dragged their feet on it, and were waiting for a lot more volume to come to crypto. And they were like, sorry, just kidding. This is only for the cool kids who've been here the whole time. All of you who've just been hearing about crypto, who are jumping in, yeah, we got nothing for you. I don't care if you got into our thing. We have nothing for you here. And literally, that's the thematic that I saw throughout this entire program. It was all about rewarding the old guard. But if you think about how sort of the EVM technology lines up against something like Solana, I've mentioned this on another video. Solana is very trendy. It's very easy. It's very cheap. When I was doing gas transactions on StarkNet, I was paying like $2. Like, it wasn't cheap at all. So I probably paid like 30 to 40, probably like 50 to 60 bucks in gas fees. And that doesn't even include me minting a domain and doing this ID thing as well. So did all this stuff, so be it. But why are you putting a cap on the date of the snapshot, especially since this is 3 months prior, right? So, February 14th, November 15th. So literally 3 months later, was it 3 months? Yeah, 3 months later, they're sort of saying, hey, that was a snapshot 3 months ago. But what the influx was. There was a period in time in December where this stuff got exponentially bigger. So if I was them, I would have made the adjustment. But even more egregious and outright stupid, like unbelievably stupid on their part, was this requirement to have 0.005 Ethereum in like actual unattached liquidity. So what happened, and this was absolutely disgusting because I didn't realize this, but if you had thousands of dollars locked up in ZeroLend or whatever protocols they have on StarkNet to lend money, you got nothing. It didn't matter that you supported all the decentralized applications on StarkNet. They basically gave the big middle finger to anybody who didn't just leave tokens lying around, not in their protocols. If you are a chain, your number one thing, especially for your developers, is to get people to come to your chain and use their applications. In this move, they basically said, hey, we're going to punish you for doing that. We're not going to, not even are we incentivizing you, we're going to punish you. And I really hope that all the other protocols are looking at like StarkNet as if like this is the stupid kid, the stupid little brother who like made a big mistake, and no one would be that dumb to sort of, because let me tell you something, ZK Sync, Chroma, Linea, Scroll, all of these protocols, they want to bring people in. I mean, we know Manta Pacific and Blast, all of them are trying to encourage developers to come on. And would developers want people to just sort of come to the chain, watch from afar, do a swap, but leave their money in their wallets and say, hey, no, sorry, I'm just going to hold on to as much as possible because I want to get an airdrop? Because these decisions have consequences. If they start making people feel like they can't put their money in the protocols of the chain, but instead need to have it unattached in their wallet, then people will adapt. People aren't stupid. No one who's gone through this and no one who's heard from somebody who's gone through this is ever going to let this happen to them again. And literally what's happened is, in my opinion, they've done a big disservice to all the other protocols out there. Because let me tell you something, if somebody's sitting there with 0.05 or 0.1 ETH, they're probably just going to say, hey, you know what? I'm just not going to risk it unless a protocol tells me specifically that they're going to treat them the same. I am not going to put my money into those apps. And hey, when that happens, this is StarkNet's problem. StarkNet is the one who really screwed up. StarkNet, I think, two big things. Like, you can reward the old guard, and they're doing that in other things. But why are you rewarding the old guard throughout the whole thing? You basically said, if you got into crypto in December, I don't care how much you've done on chain. Even if you got the December, January, February, doesn't matter, because you have to have gotten in November, October, and September. Those were you have to get as early as September. And I mean, you guys probably remember crypto DeFi wasn't booming yet. I mean, we were still buying some crypto. We were buying the dips and everything, but it wasn't like it is now. And everything else is kind of I don't want to say a joke, but a lot of it's like, were you an early community member or the Ethereum stakers? When I saw this, it was like staking before the merge, September 15, 2022. Like, come on. You know what I mean? That's ridiculous. Like, you were part of the Ethereum Protocol Guild. Were you a GitHub developer, right? Like, these are the jokes. And by the way, I want to show you one example. I don't know if this is a prank or whatever, but here's an example of a commit that counted. This person got 1,800 Stark tokens for doing a spell check. I think they're being serious, but like, the reality of like that actually got rewarded. But people who put thousands of dollars worth of volume, had thousands of dollars invested in the protocol, had done all these things, have been with StarkNet from the start. Didn't matter. If you didn't have at least 0.05 Ethereum or 0.005 Ethereum, too bad. It doesn't matter. You could have literally done everything, but you get nothing. And that's just sad. You know, there was also another one. I don't know where it is, but basically was like, are you an early Ethereum contract user? Where was it? There was something around this. It might have been this one, the StarkNet community, where you one of the first 1,000 people, which is a joke once again, because you're rewarding the old guard only. And when you reward the old guard, what reason does somebody new have to come into your protocol? Is the point here to keep only old money in here? And great, you can reward them. But when you do this kind of stuff, you really alienate everybody else who's considering jumping in, trying your technology. I know personally, you know what? Hey, I didn't earn the airdrop. I didn't choose to take all my money off StarkNet until I saw what they did to everyone else. When I saw this was happening to everyone else, forget it. I packed my bags too. In fact, I posted on Twitter, hey, a picture is worth 1,000 words. And guess what? This is me taking the amount of Ethereum I had left and putting it on a better protocol, one that hopefully won't be as stupid. And I really hope ZK Sync is watching and going, yeah, we're not going to do something stupid like StarkNet. Let's really hope. Now, the reception was somewhat mixed, right? So if you go on Twitter, you see a ton of people going, oh yeah, no, I love StarkNet. StarkNet's so great. And obviously, because they got a good airdrop. And it's so polarizing because, if you got some of that, you're happy, right? So like, somebody here was like, where was this? It was a Valentine's Day one. I thought it was like, I don't want to say it's funny, but it was just kind of lame. 23,600 Stark, and this person was where was it? Down here. Here we go. Some people have a girlfriend, some people have a boyfriend. I have a STRK. You know what I mean? And this person, Rada ETH, I have never expected Stark airdrop before. All I've done is just make open source contribution, right? So here's the thing: those people should get rewarded. Don't get me wrong, but like, once again, do you really want to create a statement to both, like, people who really were in your protocol for a long time, or people who were new coming in, the first chance they got in, they kind of came in, and you basically said, yeah, you ain't worth anything to us. And that's sort of where I have an issue, because literally, if you weren't here in September, and if you weren't here before September 15th, and then did everything they wanted, well, sorry. And if even beyond that, if you take a look here, like, literally, Stark scam is trending, right? You just see, like, I had to actually, before the video started, I demonetized it because I did not want YouTube to flag me for any of this, because I went through it and I'm like, this is a joke, right? Today, StarkNet left a big part of their loyal user base very disappointed. I've been exploring the blockchain as of late 22, messing around with everything, trading. How much are you getting? Zero. Me, like, this whole Ignite, 0.05 Ether requirement. I mean, you just can't help but laugh. Historical scam in the world, right? Literally, by the way, I don't have the app available on my browser anymore either. I removed it. I don't know why StarkNet still is picking up the address, but I've long since deleted the Argent X app. But this is all you see. In fact, there's something going on where apparently somebody got double the amount they were supposed to. They were supposed to get 180K, but they got 360K, and the wallet got doxxed. And people are trying to figure out who this is because this user did not exist, I believe, till November. So how exactly is this going on? I might have the dates wrong, but I remember seeing this thread blow up. And once again, it's just like, hey, where's the transparency? And like this is just not a good look. This is not a good look. And honestly, I'm staying away from StarkNet, and this is exactly what they should have wanted to avoid. Can you imagine having an airdrop criteria? Imagine what happened with Dimension, with Celestia. All you heard is positive things. You hear StarkNet. StarkNet basically said, hey, how can we really screw this up? Like, let's get into a room and figure out what's the worst thing we can do, and let's put that into motion. They pretty much nailed it if that's what they were trying to do. Like, literally, this goes on forever. Like, all there is like a bunch of posts and a bunch of memes, right? Like, Stark Dev said we are Solana killers. Just a text from Solana. Jupiter rewarded all users equally. On Stark, 80% of the community is Cybele. Like, what the hell? It's just you can't make this stuff up. You just literally can't make this stuff up. At 800 liquidity, no. Balance 0.05 ETH. Like, I can't help it. I really can't help it. It's just too funny. All right, let's see what's going on in the chat here. He is a real one. Oh, we're talking about Crypto Cope. He's a real one like yourself. Big loss. Hey, look, hopefully he'll be back. Hopefully we'll get him back on YouTube. Yo, so salty on StarkNet. I got 1,800 tokens on 2 wallets, each another 850. I almost forgot. Arbitrum of the same stuff. Mint ETH. Yeah. So listen, I get that. But why would you punish people for putting money in your like liquidity pools? Like, why would you do that? That's just stupidity. It's asinine. Absolutely asinine. Because let me tell you something. If you have the choice now, which one of you is going to choose to not just leave your money in liquidity? I'm literally, like, after this video is over, I have like 0.5 Ethereum in ZK Sync and like I have 0.4 like unstaked. I'm taking the 0.5 I have staked in one of the liquidity pools for zero lend. I'm gonna keep this here in case somehow the thing goes up. I'm not letting that happen to me. How much is each token worth? Each token is almost worth $2 each. So that's a significant sized airdrop. So basically from that, the minimum airdrop was like $1,700. It's not bad. Dejun Pod got 7K. That's nice. I can see the future at this point. I smell a hated rally for Stark. Well, we'll see what happens, right? Like, the reality is, guys, like, everyone's entitled to make mistakes. What I'm surprised is here is like StarkNet's just like hoping that this goes away and not even addressing anything. Like nothing. You know, like, is that the plan? Is the plan just going, hey, guys, the group of insiders here are gonna have it? What I love these memes though. Like I can't help it. I know I shouldn't laugh, but I can't help it. Haitian Buffet, appreciate your layer 0 video, Brown. Help me move from, I'm gonna assume that's 0 to top 30% in a few days. DFK gang F StarkNet. Oh man. Oh man. Yeah, well, you know what? Given what happened with StarkNet, I'm also going to revisit a bunch of stuff to say, okay, what other potential holes can we clog? So that's perfect. Continue to follow the guidance in the layer 0 video. ZK Sync is going to be much the same. In fact, Mingu airdrop on Twitter. After this video, I'll put his tweet in the description. He had a really good sort of adjustment for ZK Sync criteria that, based on what we saw from StarkNet, obviously, like, it may not be this extreme, but hey, there are things you can do today to help you. So might as well get that done if you can. You know what I'm saying? And guys, listen, until you're told otherwise, ZK Sync, Chroma, whatever, all these like things, your L2, any L2 Ethereum that you are farming for an airdrop, make sure you have 0.1 Ethereum on there, just in case. Like, if you had to pick, like if you can have it, obviously, if you can pick between a liquidity pool and that 0.1 Ethereum, that's what I'm doing minimum, just in case, because like literally don't get, like, don't let this happen to you, right? Like 0.005 ETH is such an arbitrary number. I was confused how they came up with that one. Clunky, slow, errors, and costly. Yeah, like honestly, that thing's a joke. DJ Pilot said mode blessed my wallet today, went from 300 points. Oh, that's awesome. Congrats. 0.05 with bullshit. Some people kept most people are smart with their money. They went and deposited in protocols. They put it in liquidity pools. They had stuff staked. And because of this, they got destroyed. Like this meme says it all. 800 liquidity, nah. Balance 0.005 ETH. Yeah, exactly. It's such a joke. DJ Pilot, I'm literally dumping STRK and going to Colombia to blow it all. I don't care, I love it. Dude, I don't care, I love it. Oh, that song playing in the background? Oh, you can hear it? Okay, yeah. I put it on very like light, but yes. Vividry, right? So here's the thing. Like, I love Colombia. Colombian women are nice. I got a small allocation, but yeah. Like, here's the thing. Like, just from a community perspective, this is just not a good look. Like, doing this is the equivalent of basically changing the rules. And guys, like, I get it. I didn't get it, and I completely own that. That one's on me. I had everything else taken care of, but most of it was actually a side effect of me not actually trying really hard back then. And the November one, okay, I can try to give them a pass. It's stupid on their part, but like the 0.005 ETH is just stupid. Like, if you're gonna have that minimum, it should have been balance or in protocols. If you had that money on chain in, like, not even in ETH, can you imagine if you had 100,000 USDC and they were like, sorry, you don't have 0.005 ETH. Sorry, we can't help you. You're a Cybele. Like, it's just stupidity. It should have been, if they're putting you to at least $100 transaction volume, 0.005 ETH, whatever that is, like, what is it? Probably like $10 or $14. Okay, great. Make it, as long as you have $20 worth of some sort of token in anything on the chain, you're good, whether it's on your wallet or in the protocol. That would have made sense. This is just completely asinine. People's arbitrary at a min 0.0052. Yeah, but here's the thing. So I got a couple questions there. For Arbitrum at the time, did they have like a bunch of these staking protocols? And number two, like, what do they do for that? Because I cannot imagine that the outroar, like this, that there wouldn't be this kind of outroar if that was the case. Do you get what I'm saying? Something there is a little different. I also remember that for Arbitrum, it wasn't a sort of disqualifier, right? So for Arbitrum, you had to hit 3 of whatever gates. So it wasn't like, hey, if you don't have one, like I believe nothing disqualified you as long as you hit a minimum of 3 things. Is that not correct? Backward. I don't have a problem with the snapshot date. I have a problem with the inability to correctly distribute. Yeah, and that's the other thing. So this one is hard. This one's a little harder, right? So yes, snapshot, we can give them a pass. The reason I have an issue with this is when you're launching an airdrop, your goal is not just to reward your users. Yes, like it's a sort of marketing thing. It's to bring liquidity to attract people. You are basically telling people that you only care about people who've been here from 6 months ago, basically, and everybody else, I don't care. You mean nothing to me. So if you say that, why would I ever want to help you get your protocol up and running, especially when there are so many options now and many much cheaper options that, like, just work way better. StarkNet is not a pleasant experience. Let me tell you something. It's not. Like, the chain operates like the Metis testnet. It's obviously better than that, but it's nowhere close to any of the other L2s. But I did also see the same thing in those threads on Twitter. People were talking about, hey, how come I got no allocation? And they're like, oh, there's probably going to be errors, blah, 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 blah. Well, what exactly were they doing? Like what took them so long to make some bad decisions? And then, the fact that somebody got double the amount, they were double counted or something on one of the addresses I saw, like, once again, like, they were going to give 180,000 extra tokens. Salt? I mean, I don't know if you're talking about me, but like I'm not salty because like honestly, like I said, I own that I didn't get it. That was on me. I feel bad for everybody else who didn't, you know? Yeah. All right, we have some emoticons in here. Mickey's asking, we still working on Linea? Well, so Linea, they gave a lot of LXP. I don't know, like, so they had the unfettered. I think there might be one more campaign going on in their Discord. But I'm waiting for any more like quests or campaigns or whatever to get more. Because remember, for Linea, LXP is soul bound to your account, and then token generation event happens. We will hopefully cash out big. Degen says, I'm in the mode. I'm right now taking a break from Linea. Anyone still farming CK Sync is lost in the sauce. Why do you say that, Degen Pilot? Like the thing is, it's comments like this, and don't take this the wrong way. I got comments like this when I was farming StarkNet back in March of 2023. I was told, oh my God, it's too late. So like, hey, the first chance I got, and by the way, I don't blame anybody else for saying this. It's my fault for listening. I wouldn't even say I listened fully. It was just in the back of my head always. So I never really like, okay, great. I could do this or I could work on StarkNet. Well, maybe I'm too late. I won't do it. And guess what? If I didn't let those things, if I didn't listen to those people at some extent, I definitely would have done it. I definitely would have done so. March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October. Yeah, so I would have had 9 months worth of transaction. Probably still get the minimum. But, you know, what I'm saying is you can say that all you want, that, you know, like I have very little patience for people to tell people that what they're doing is wrong unless you can show me abjectly why that's wrong, like why it's a bad idea. Like saying a black and white statement like, oh, Solana sucks or Ethereum sucks. You know, on the channel here, when I was posting first in December and Ethereum's at $2,000, I'm like, hey, Ethereum, I said, was my biggest allocation. And people are like, are you crazy? Ethereum sucks, man. Whatever. This is dead. It's a dead chain. Guess what? It's $2,800 today. $2,800. Like, what has gone up? Almost 40%. 40%? Yeah. What has gone up 40% since like mid-December, right? Because nothing else had moved, right? Like, everything else had moved then. Ethereum did. And I said, this is why my allocation is biggest in Ethereum, because it's a sleeping giant. It's heavily staked. People are forgetting about it. Just like with Solana. People are like, oh, Solana's dead. Don't buy it at $8. Don't buy it at $8. It's at $100 now. People just want us to talk. Like, and I don't mean to say this about you because, you know, you said this about ZK Sync, but I mean this for anybody who's going to make a comment about, hey, somebody doing X is wrong and or something derogatory. If you don't have a actual thing to back up exactly why you're saying that, I mean, I don't think it's a how do I put it, constructive statement. Does that make sense? Bit backward says, I think it'll be worth it. Don't interact with ecosystem, just do the quest. Yeah, exactly. I only do the voyage. Yeah, exactly. I only do the voyage because it's too expensive. I'm not doing that. The memes today are unmatched. Honestly, like my favorite is the Drake one. Jack says, I farmed StarkNet on 12 wallets since April. I had over $200 on each wallet at all times. 3 of 12 wallets received 0. Okay. So you know what? There was somebody on Twitter who I'm pretty sure is lying because they're in the same group as that guy who always posts the threads that are fake, like the fake bullshit threads. And he's like, yeah, you know, so I have 250 wallets and 217 got the StarkNet airdrops. Yeah, I'm crushing it, you know. And then I looked at his threads on it, and they were just joke thing. Like there's 0 chance like that he got that. You know what I mean? Like, so, but this 12 thing, I completely believe you. Do you have any idea why 3 didn't qualify? Obviously, you can't tell them, hey, I did the same thing on all 12. Why are these 3 excluded? But like, I would definitely try to get to the bottom of that because then they owe you some money. Jack, that is gross. That sucks. Yeah. StarkNet tech is garbage. Chain is slow. Gas expensive. Yeah, it is absolute dog shit. That's what the chain is. It's dog shit. Success with care when Z-Sync. Well, we're expecting Q2 2024, I believe. The financial member, I'm a member, got his membership halted yesterday. His channel is not deleted, but he seems unable. Really? Oh, that sucks. I wonder what happened. Crazy, they rewarded people that spell checked on GitHub with thousands of tokens, but users with 500 days of history got nothing in some cases. Yeah, well, once you create the criteria, that's basically it. You know, something crazy. Actually, maybe I shouldn't say this, but something similar is going on where I live in Canada right now. With I can't go into details because I don't want anything to happen on YouTube. But let's just say if you look up something big in the Canadian news, there were some contracts written that may have been very specific to one vendor and basically excluded everybody else. And some people profited. Let's just say it's the biggest news headline right now in Canada. They basically gave low-income people the middle finger. Not just that, any new person too. You could be new with money. Nah, we don't want you. You're not part of our group. People don't remember you used to have to wait 12 hours. Oh my God, I heard about this. I heard that sometimes 50% of the time your transaction didn't even work after you waited 12 hours. Like, can you imagine? Like, it's absolutely absurd. I didn't farm Stark because it was too crowded. Also, their TVL is only 50 million, bro. Not strong enough. Well, here's the thing, Pandem. If the token is worth $1.75 and people are getting like at minimum 1,700 US, this is what I mean. When things get too crowded, they just increase their criteria, right? So same thing with ZK Sync. I expect the criteria to be very stringent. So this is why you have to take it to the next level. This is why I bought like a Libertas Omnibus. This is why I think I have 8 months worth of transaction history. I'm going to keep tallying that up. I cannot guarantee that I will get an allocation in any of these, but what I can do is do my best to ensure that I put myself in the best spot. That's the only thing you can do. So anyone watching this, that's all you can do is literally go, hey, look, StarkNet sucks. Great. What can we learn from this? Okay, keep a balance on your wallet. I mean, I actually, if you watch my ZK Sync video, the last one I did 3 weeks ago, I said, keep a balance on your wallet because they check these things. I wasn't aware that they would, I thought LPs counted too, but apparently not. Live in a StarkNet, people born before the year 1940. Too many proof of humanities nowadays. Well, it has to happen that way. Because if you don't, you get people like, no shade on our boy Jack here, but he's got 12 wallets and he qualified. Well, 9, right? So they need to rate limit this stuff. And this is why, Jack's going to have like his, maybe his girlfriend, maybe his sister, maybe his brother, maybe his mom and dad, right? Surprisingly, I saw a meme on this. It was like, it was some guy and all his clones, and it was like going to the wrestling stadium or stage or whatever. And it was like me and my family collecting my StarkNet airdrop, and it was just a bunch of people walking in, right? They're all looking the same. So they need something to prevent cyber behavior of people just creating these farms to just take the airdrop, because this is only going to get worse and worse, right? Imagine what happens when all these bots are doing it too. In fact, there are bot services now that help do that, and I hate that. Operates like the Metis testnet, yeah. It's like, can you imagine? It's not. Nothing can ever be that bad, but it's close. Am I too late for Linea? I've been focused. Listen, it's never too late. Although for Linea, I would focus more on anytime they have an LXP campaign, join their Discord, make sure you're part of their Twitter. If they're doing an LXP campaign, they'll post it on, both of them likely, or one or the other, and get into that. That will convert you into an airdrop. Everything else, I would not go out there and farm on their chain. Once again, keep 0.1 ETH, just in case, if you can. Literally all ZK Sync has to do is make the criteria for an ETH mainnet transaction history, and 50+% of the cyber walls are ineligible. So here's the other problem with this, right? And this is actually why I have so this is not my main wallet, the one I use on YouTube, but it's the wallet that I use to do all my transactions publicly. And the reason I do this is I have transaction history. Like if I was to go to let's see, 3 earn or earn 3 or whatever. So I go to earn 3, and I'm going to show you if I go to this and just type in, let me get my wallet address. Like you see here, if I put this wallet address in here, there's no Cybele activity because I use this wallet for pretty much my main interactions on most chains, right? So you see here, when you look at this, great. 100%, 197, 182,000 volume, 987. And it's not BS volume where I'm just trading back and forth. Because for Ethereum, you would never want to do that, right? Because I would be killing myself doing that. So then like hopefully, like, you know, they look at that stuff as well when they're doing this, because, you know, you got tons of transactions. ZK Sync, I think I'm at 83% last I checked. Yeah, 83%. See here, I got all this. Still got some work to do. This is just 7 months. On Wednesday says 8. There are things you can do to sort of improve like sort of your scores on a lot of these things. So that's really like kind of where my goal is look, we get these metrics good, but not just that. Let me take a look at all the other things where I can support. In fact, I'm going to go and donate on, what is it? Not GitHub, but Gitcoin or whatever. There's a link. So Mingu airdrop, like that guy, he posted a lot of things you could do to potentially up your chances. So, hey, this is just sort of rounding my bases kind of thing. You know, once again, nothing's guaranteed, right? How you got Exdia to Gnosis? Oh, what you got to, XDAI. What you got to do is you've got to use Merkley. So I linked Merkley top up gas in any of those layer 0 videos, and it'll show you how to do it. Just choked. To my surprise, just checked. To my surprise, received 111 Stark. Can't remember doing anything. See, that's the other thing, right? People are like, I didn't do anything and I got it. And people are like, I was here for 3 years. I got nothing. Yeah, so here's the thing. I saw that tweet and that was like November. Is that what you're talking about? So November, they made a statement that made it seem like they were sort of, you know, doing all that stuff. But then they made tweets after the fact. So people have been posting, there's a Merkley tracker. So one of the things I do is I follow CC2 Ventures. He's very good at doing these bigger airdrops. And like what his strategy is, like he's been just grinding it for like years, right? But what he tracks all of what these protocols do. And he was giving examples of where like ZK Sync sort of implied how they were still waiting for more users, more new users. Gas fees have not gone down, right? So like there's a bunch of signals he puts out that help you track when a snapshot's been taken. And based on all of that, like I don't think that's the case. And by the way, like here's the thing. I'm not at a point where I can be like, hey, I'm comfortable with where I am to stand pat. And so then I have a decision. My decision is, do I just listen to people who have zero like stake in how well I do? Or do I put myself in the best spot, and then whatever the outcome is, I'm happy with it, right? Because we can't look at what happened before. Everything that's been done so far on this, the 67.77 spent on ZK Sync in gas fees, that's a sunk cost. Whatever I do moving forward does not change that. However, if I was to now say, okay, well, you know, DGen Pilot said ZK Sync is done, so I'm going to just not touch ZK Sync. If ZK Sync comes out and does a snapshot, I don't qualify because I don't have 8 months, and they did a snapshot like in April, am I going to come to you and go, man, DGen, like I can't believe it. It's your fault. No, it's my fault because I listened to other people. So for me, and I think for everyone listening, DGen, you can have your comments, and I'm sure other people will agree with you as well. Guys, you got to ask yourself, what's my opportunity cost with this? Do I want to do it or not? And what's the sort of alternative, right? For me, hey, I'm sitting here with seven months. I want to put myself in the best spot. ZK Sync is likely going to be probably the biggest airdrop of the year next to layer 0, but we'll see. Like we don't know these things yet. So that's kind of what I want to do. This is kind of super bearish for Zero Land. Yeah, if you got money on Zero Land on ZK Sync, get it out of there. I'm pulling all my money off Zero Land right now. It's done. Like I've earned my rewards there, but hey, I'm done supporting them on ZK Sync. Problem with farming EVMs, so shot in the dark, too much hassle, too much fees. Yeah, but the problem is those are the ones that usually pay the biggest. It's just reality, right? They pay really well, and you've got to be very competitive because if you want the top spot, it's a fight, it's a grind. So a lot of other people are willing to do stuff that maybe you are not, and this is why, you know, when you have the opportunity, you know, you got to ask yourself, once again, it's a personal decision, right? What happened to Crypto Cove? So I posted this earlier, but his channel either got deleted or suspended or something like that without warning. Basically said he was promoting harmful content. Not really sure what he's trying to appeal it. You can find him on Twitter. Let me bring the tweet up again. You know, help him by retweeting this. right? Like I quote retweeted it. Where is it? So this one. So there. So I don't know why it says I didn't retweet it. I definitely did, but I did it this way. So I quote retweeted it. So to sort of, help him amplify this message. So if you guys can, make sure you do that because he's a good guy, and we don't want to lose people like that in the space. People who actually add value versus take things away. Just checked. Oh yeah, we went through this. I think the reason I didn't have the official bridge used in. Was that a criteria? Was that actual criteria or no? Official bridge. You use StarkNet more than 5 times, 3 separate months, cumulative amount of $100. No, that's not a requirement, unless they're basically putting that underneath. They rewarded someone who posted a sizable script on GitHub. No way. This is like the gift that keeps on giving. That's the only thing I think of. Yeah, it can't be that. It can't be that. I got 111 for using immutable X for GOG NFTs. Best way to sell ASAP on claim day is probably a DEX, right? Likely, but make sure there's enough liquidity. Lucky for you, it really depends. If there are people who are bullish, you can probably get out before the initial wave who are trying to buy it. Just keep your slippage a little bit higher so that you can get your transaction through. That's what we did with Jupiter. Yeah, proof of humanity is great. Yeah, I completely agree. Proof of humanity, like I'm not somebody who, especially on EVM where I start farming multiple wallets, so I would much rather have it so people can't abuse it. That's why I like Gitcoin Passport. And by the way, for those of you who don't have it, I'm going to make a video on sort of priorities, likely on Friday. You can get a lot of intel if you look at, so there's a website called Guilds. And Guilds, there's a ZK Sync, I'm going to find the thing. There's a ZK Sync Guilds page, and it tells you sort of what you've got to do to get access. Hold on, let me just, what the hell is going on? Connect to a wall. Oh, I gotta reconnect my wallet, and then I'll bring it up and show you guys exactly what I mean. So this is very telling. So this is the ZK Sync Guild. So this is like you join the Discord, you can get roles. So I minted the guild pin and whatever. So verified level 1, 10 transactions on the ZK Sync era, great. Discord account older than 3 months, okay, great. Verified email address, okay, great. One more, Gitcoin Passport with 15 score in unique humanity score. Very important. The fact they put this in here, most guilds don't have this. That tells me that's likely something that they're going to be looking at. Somebody who has a Gitcoin Passport and stamps on chain. I'm going to make a video on how to do that. The next thing is Gitcoin Passport with 20 score. And then, what's this? Holder of the Libertas Omnibus NFTs. So, what this tells me is, once again, these are things that you should be thinking about for their airdrop. Not definitively, but they leave clues. Just like Wormhole left clues on, I think it was Ute or the Gods NFT, stuff like that. You gotta watch out for it. Rumors are spreading that ZK Sync has taken a snapshot. What's the meaning of endgame on their tweet? Don't know, but listen, guys, you can't worry about things out of your control. That's the reality of it. I remember hearing this when I was like much younger and never understanding it. But like now that I'm a little older, what I will say is, guys, yes, we want to take as much information in, but all this is speculation. Do what you think is best. And maybe if you're like starting at 0 with ZK Sync, like maybe then you'd consider it. But if you're somebody who's already gotten some transactions in a few months, what's the loss here? Remember, everything we do with airdrop farming is we sort of pay up front some fees, and we hope to reclaim a multiple of those back, right? Usually 50, 100x those fees. That's what it pays for it, right? So usually when you get a big airdrop, like for example, the one we got with Dimension, if you got Jito, if you got Jupiter, if you got Wen, right? All these things, they bring down your costs. In fact, that's how it makes you profitable. But you have to you are basically betting on where you think the right moves are. So even if you're hearing that, hey, ZK Sync, if people are taking a snapshot, remember one thing, this is a player versus player game. If I was unscrupulous, I would tell you the same thing. If I didn't want as much competition, I would be spreading as much as possible. Hey, ZK Sync is taking a snapshot. No, don't farm. Why are you wasting your time? Abdel Stark gone off rail and started abusing farm. Yeah, you know what? I saw that tweet. That guy's an idiot. I saw it was a 4-line tweet about something about like go to some bullshit protocols or whatever at the end, right? He's an idiot. Abdel's office rocker. I have 2K gas spent on ETH mainnet. Ugh, it's the worst. Do you have a ZK Sync guide? I do. However, it's not as comprehensive as my layer 0 strategy, because I think the layer 0 strategy is a lot more specific and how you can make it work for you. So I basically show you how to walk through, like, number one, everything starts with a tracker that tells you where you are. So I like Wenzer. Wenzer's very good. There are other trackers out there too. You can use NFT Copilot, for example, and have an idea. Like, let me just open up NFT Copilot to show you sort of what I mean. Because this is free. By the way, people keep asking me this. I do not use their botting service. I do not trust anything. I don't trust any bots with my crypto. So I go here and it'll basically pop up eventually, hopefully, where I am. So top 2% in ZK Sync. You see here like where I can improve. 7 months, top 27%. 75K volume, top 5%. So I can improve here. I can improve here. These are my top 2 things. And then based on that, okay, what am I going to do? Okay, well, how do I get more volume? Basically, what's the cheapest way for me to get volume? And from what I've heard, some protocols you can sort of wrap ETH, like you deposit ETH, unwrap ETH. The other cheap one I found is actually depositing into Zero-Land and withdrawing it, because they don't have a lockup period and it costs you like 10 cents or 8 cents or something to deposit and withdraw. So that's also another option. Months, I have no choice. I got to wait till March to get this up to 8 months. CC is goated, exactly. But yeah, sort of just to go back to this, I do have a ZK Sync guide. I'm going to put a more comprehensive one together, but just sort of use the principles out of layer 0 and just make sure you're trying to hit as much of those points. Ask yourself, if I was trying to move one step further every day on this account, what's my next move? If you're looking here, well, if I'm in these, the 27, if 27% of people are better than me on time, well, maybe I improve that, but that is restricted to time. So what's the next one? Volume. Beyond that, it's my points. Then bridge volume, right? So there's a lot of other things. In fact, this is not as comprehensive, and I actually like ZK Flow for this better. ZK Flow like tells you need like ZK Sync Lite transactions. So I would look at that. There's a ton of different things. The people in the premium group, they got all the trackers and everything, and we go through all that stuff. But it's going to be very similar. I have less than a half an ETH, so didn't bother with any ETH-based airdrop. Did try it first, but found instructions posted by others to be incomplete. Yeah, so most of this crap is on Twitter, where they spend more time talking about how much something's worth, and they give you like 6 tweets worth of bullshit information. Then they give you 3 things that are nonsensical, that are obvious, right? Like, oh, download MetaMask, and so MetaMask, what you gotta do is type in your password, and there's another tweet here. And by the time you're on the 11th tweet, you're like, okay, well, I gotta bookmark this because now they finally got to something I need. I won't remember all this, so you bookmark it, and that's all they care about. That's why they keep doing this stuff. These people are a complete waste of space. CryptoCo is my favorite. Awesome. I don't use Gitcoin due to privacy concern of having IDs submitted to third parties. Well, you can sort of get around that. So you don't have to use your ID. There are other things you can do. So like, for example, you can max out on like your social medias and stuff. The reality is all this stuff is encrypted anyways. And like, this is the other thing. There's a kind of balance, right? So you see how you have privacy concerns of having ID submitted to third parties. I actually prefer to submit my ID. And the reason for this is I want them to know I'm a real damn person. I'm a real person, so don't put me as a Cybele when I'm on here. I'm not a robot. Maybe. At least the milkman gave us some good news. Well, no, actually, Brandon, what I would say about the milk tia is that was also not that great news, because remember, if you don't have a high allocation, the whales are going to get multipliers that will dilute you out completely. So we'll watch out. Merkley's wallet tracker is not good. Wenzer is better. Yeah, so you know what? I actually just purchased Merkley's. I want to see how it looks like. For layer 0, they identify every contract, so that might be worth the $5. We'll see. Haitian says hit the like button, guys. Yeah, exactly. Please do. Drop in gems. Thank you, Haitian. I'm removing my liquidity from zero let and keeping it just to be safe. Yeah, exactly. And when that happens, I wish there was a sort of why are you taking your liquidity out of your box? And you could say, well, I saw what happened to StarkNet, and if you kept your money in liquidity pools and staked, you actually got screwed over. Imagine how fast things would change. What are points on the NFT Copilot? I believe it's just dragging points from what's it called? From ZK Flow. So like ZK Flow basically shows you get all these points based on different characteristics you have. So let me just open it up for you. So you see here, I've got on this. See, they're all very different, right? In fact, this one says I spent 87.72. Bridge to ZK Sync, 1 point. 2 points here, the months. 4 points over here. 2 points here. No points here. 3 points here. And I don't know. I think there's more. There's different criteria. So it's a little more challenging. You see here, it gives you a bunch of information. And I know people will ask me like, hey, which one do I use? There's a ton of them, right? Because they're all different. Try to get as much information from all of them to give you a directionality, right? So like, one's not going to say you're first place and the other's going to say you're last place. They're going to give you close enough. And then how do you maximize on all? Like, what is it telling you? Find those commonalities and do it. So for me, if I was to sort of look at this again, this is a huge thing for me, getting to 9 months. And then over here, I want to get to like 50K bridged to ZK Sync, but this is through the native bridge. So that's the sort of reason why I haven't bothered. And then beyond that, like, I think that's sort of the usability here. I see here like which contracts I've used and which I didn't, right? So I see a lot that I use all the time and some that I've never used, although Gold 3, that's a lie. I've used it like 4 or 5 different occasions to do some sports betting. So, these things aren't perfect. We got to sort of work with what we have. How do you up contracts? Look up contracts. What I would recommend is you go to the actual website of the protocol in question. So like, you go to the ZK Sync's main website, go to the ecosystem, find out all of the protocols they have there, and each of those is contract. Kirk, if you're new to the party, is it probably better to take the L and start farm scroll or a newer airdrop campaign? I mean, I think scroll is very under farmed, so I would farm scroll. Even ZK Sync, look, if at worst you like don't want to put in the effort, just do one transaction on ZK Sync on February, March, and April. So you get 3 months right there. Actually, I would just do every month from February onward. But so you get Feb, March, April, May, June to end of Q2. That's 5 months. Okay, then you could literally just do like a few transactions. So that's 5 transactions. Maybe leave 0.1 ETH there. Do a little bit more. And I think that's enough. You don't need to go ham on it, right? And ZK Sync is actually very cheap. They refund, like, in most cases, 80% of the gas fees. But Scroll's not bad. Scroll's cheap. Am I too late for Layer 0? No. Abby, you are not too late. Please watch my Layer 0 guide. I posted it 2 days ago. I posted a sort of understanding guide for Layer 0 and then a full in-depth strategy guide on step-by-step. Here's what you should do. Watch those 2. They're on the channel, okay? Yeah, Scroll's insanely and underfarmed. Exactly. I also think Chroma's underfarmed, but Chroma is like so expensive in gases. I hate it. Scroll or Linea. I would say prioritize Scroll, and then Linea if you see like LXP like campaigns. I meant up the number of contract interactions under NFT Copilot. Yes. So exactly. So you can do that. This does not capture that, unfortunately. I don't know if Wenzer does. It might. But I know I don't know for a fact, but I think Merkley captures it too. So you want to just make sure you try different protocols and get that number up if you can. Gold 3 held my money. Yeah, so this is a sort of common thing. You need to have 20 ZK USD. But that's it's not hard to do. You just basically like, I think they tell you that too. Like it's on the top. But what I did was I just picked things that were like very clear, like favorites, like in soccer, things that were like 4-1 or 3.8-1, right? Liverpool versus some garbage team. And then I just bet like $15, and like I made 2 bets, won both of them, and that was my transactions. What do you think about mode potential? We'll see. I feel like a lot of these other these 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 campaigns where you have to like deposit ETH or send ETH, like mode's a little better because you can send it back now through Orbiter or something else like Owl2. But like Manta was kind of like was the worst. In fact, that was the last time I used this kind of slide template. So Manta was bad. It really depends on what mode does, right? Like so far, I've not seen anything like so special. What I don't like is the fact that like the US is banned, Canada is banned, so people got to use VPNs. And like, what does that mean when it comes time to collect? That'll be interesting to know. I did the same in Bayern Munich lost. They were a favorite 1.3. That sucks. Damn, that's the worst. That's why you can't bet on a German team. Okay, can't do that. Anyways, guys, I actually got some work done. I was always supposed to be on for 20 minutes. My thoughts about StarkNet, like literally, I think they could have done a lot better. It sucks that they alienated a lot of people. It sucks that I mean, you see the memes out there, 0.005 ETH. Yeah, so it's a bad thing. And Mickey, so maybe I should make it clear. It's not that the private Discord is closed. In the private Discord, prior to having 40 people, so now we have like 47 or 46 people. Before we had 40 people, every person had their own personalized room on top of like the main channels. And the idea there was, if you had something you wanted to discuss that you didn't want anyone else to see, and you sort of wanted like sort of all that stuff there, you would literally post there, and every like so often I would go in there, go down to the thing, and just answer questions there. And like people use it so much to the point where no one wanted to give theirs up. Like people were like saying, hey, like, yes, I can sell it, but I don't like, if I'm selling it, I want 100 TIA and something ridiculous like that. So that was what we limited. In terms of the number of users in the private Discord, I'm waiting. We're going to have like a live stream with the group. Probably can't be on Sunday. Actually, maybe it's Sunday when I'm in Europe, because I do fly to Europe on Sunday. Well, I fly on Saturday. I get there Sunday. Depending on that, we might do a live stream over there. And I'm going to pose the question, like, what's our cap? Because we don't want to sort of have this grow forever. That's not the point. We want to keep it manageable, and we want to have it with people who are like strictly serious about maximizing during this period of time. So I hope that answers your question. Anyways, guys, I really hope you enjoyed the video. Remember, hit the like button, share the video, especially if somebody who got screwed by StarkNet. I want to hear from them. I want to hear what their thoughts are. Keep your head up. Please don't make StarkNet the reason you stop doing airdrops. They screwed up. That's not reflective of everybody else. And I hope other protocols come out and sort of make it very clear that hopefully they won't do some of the stuff that StarkNet did. So with that being said, I want to thank you all for watching. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share. And I'll see you in the next video.